Share with you a personal childhood story. But first, we're going to learn a little bit. Then we'll get to the story that ties in. And we all know that in the davening, in the prayers, the daily prayers, there are some very big ideas that are there. So we're going through these big ideas. We're going through some really deep thoughts that are given to us every morning when we start to pray. And we're now on page 13. And we're reading the story of Abraham and Isaac walking together up to the altar. Abraham, in his final 10th test, is about to take Isaac onto the altar. And last week we discussed the big idea where it says that Abraham woke up early. We learned about alacrity and zealousness, waking up early to do a mitzvah. And this week we're going to talk about another very big concept that shows up right at the beginning of the story. And that is on page 13. We read about Abraham and Isaac walking together. And the word that's used is Vayelchu shneim yachdav. So you can see it appears like a few times. The narrative keeps on saying it again and again. Vayelchu shneim yachdav. And they walked together. You can see it on page 13. It appears 2 times. Very beautiful visual of it. You see Abraham, older father, finally had a child after 100 years. And he's walking along with his younger son, Isaac. Isaac might have not been so young at this point. Might have been closer to 30, 40 years old. He wasn't a baby, as is usually thought. So father and son are trekking through the desert, through the wilderness, and they're making their way to Jerusalem, to the Hara Moriah, to Mount Moriah, where Abraham was commanded to bring his one and only son Isaac onto the altar. Obviously, we all know at the end of the story that God told Abraham to not sacrifice your son. And instead, he prepared a little sheep, a little ram that was there, stuck in its horns. Hence, we blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah to remind ourselves of this great mitzvah of Abraham and Isaac. Now, the point, the visual that I'm trying to bring out over here, which in this reading we keep on saying, as they're walking together, father and son, hand in hand, side by side, are walking together. I think that's like a sort of a key thing in education. The father and son, mother and daughter, parents and children walk together in this journey of Judaism. You can look at it as a particular story that happened 3,000 years ago, or close to 4,000 years ago, this story, 3,800 years ago, story of Abraham and Isaac. Or we could look at it as the unfolding story of the Jewish people. And every generation's parents and children were passing the torch to each other, passing on their Yiddishkeit, the Torah, and the mitzvahs, and they're walking together. That's why I think this is like a very poetic, beautiful line. Vayelchu shneim yachdav. They walk together, not just physically walking together, but of one mind and one heart, of one soul. Parents bonding with their children. The Jewish people were like a chain, a golden chain. If you could imagine the chain going back to the days of Abraham, all the way down to us. And that chain is passed on by parents and children, making that link. And each generation is another link in the golden chain of our people. But in every generation, the key was always parents and children walking together. That was the secret of our existence, the secret of our survival is the education. But I think it's not just a important line that tells us about the importance of passing on the traditions from one generation to another, but it actually tells us how we pass it on. People think that education is about telling our kids what to do. If you're a good educator, you tell your kids or you tell your class, this is how you got to do it. But here we see a different vision. Here we see parents and children walking together. What does that mean? It means parents are not, like Abraham and Isaac, they weren't speaking much. They maybe had a small conversation. They're walking for a couple of days over there in the wilderness on the way to Jerusalem. You don't hear them saying much. But they're walking together, one mind, one spirit. And to me, that's like the key of what Jewish continuity and Jewish education is about. It's about walking together, meaning that a parent doesn't tell the child, do what I say, but the parent tells the child, do as I do. Follow my lead. I'm walking with you and beside you, ahead of you. Follow me. It's a great life, this Jewish life. And see that I am happy. And I think that the key to education is when children see that their parents are happy with their Jewishness. They enjoy, they walk to shul together, they sit in shul together, they make a Shabbos table or a Yom Tov table, and they see the parents are enjoying it. It's a joy, not a burden. When parents are burdened by things, then the children know. I always say, if you want your child to be a doctor like you're a doctor, they have to see at home, when you come home at night, that you're happy with your life as a doctor. If they see that you're not happy with that life, and you come home and the whole night you're commiserating about your patients and about the hospital and about your children are not going to be doctors. And if you come home at night and you commiserate about your job, about the accountancy, and about how boring it is, and all day long I'm just reading the same numbers, and your kids are not going to be accountants. But if you come home at night, you say, wow, I was in court today, I was a lawyer, I enjoyed it. This is a joy. I enjoy the mental gymnastics of law and the nuances. And you bring home the papers and you show your kids and you show the family. You can be sure your child's going to be a lawyer too. Because, obviously they have to have the seichel for it as well. but they're going to follow your path. And if you're a rabbi, and you come home at night and you tell your children, wow, I had such a great time, such a shiur. I was today at 11 o'clock. I had the best class on earth. I had the best students. They were all paying attention. It was a Michael. It's so much fun to prepare a class and then give it over to people and see them enjoying it. You tell them the joy. You show them how much you enjoy what you're doing. Then you can be sure that all your kids will be rabbis as well. Taka, not a job for a Jewish boy or girl, but yeah. Just 1 second here. We have a few people that are coming into the class. There you go. One needs to enjoy what they're doing, and that's the key. The key is, if you want your children to be good Jews, you don't need to tell them what to do. Don't tell them, you better do this, you better do that. No. They have to see that you're hopping and popping in your Jewishness. You're into your Yiddishkeit. You come home every night. You love being a Jew. You love running to shul. Not just because you want to run away from the errands in the house that you have to do. Not just because you want to go to shul because it's too noisy in the house. I'm not talking about that. You go to shul because you love it. You love a life. A lot of times parents come to me, they're upset that their children are not following in their path. This is the key. There was once someone that came to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He came to the Rebbe, was complaining that their children, many people complain about their children, complaining to the Rabbi, about my kids, they're not going in the same path. They're not being religious Jews. They're not doing what they're supposed to doing. They're going out and marrying out of the faith. And then he concluded, telling the Rebbe said to the Rebbe, it's schwer zu sein a Yid. It's tough to be a Jew. And he gives a kvetch and a krechts. Oi, it's schwer zu sein a Yid. I don't know if you ever heard that expression. Oh, it's difficult to be a Jew. You know? And the Rebbe didn't pay attention to his question. The Rebbe said, by the way, that statement you just made, that it's difficult to be a Jew, you like that statement? He says, yeah, I love saying it. He says, do you say it a lot? Yeah, I always say it. Do you say it a lot in your house? Always. I love the Yiddish. It sounds very good. Schwer zu sein a Yid. The Rebbe said, that's it. That's your problem. That's what's going on over here. When your children are hearing every day, all day long, that you're krechzing and saying, oh, it's hard to be a Jew. What's the message you're sending to your family? You should be telling your children, the Rebbe says, this is good to sein a Yid. It's good to be a Jew. It's fun to be a Jew. It's freilach to be a Yid. It's a joy. It's enjoyable. When you hear kids will hear that, the Rebbe said, then they'll want to be like you. But if you telling him, but you come home every day and you kvetch and you krechts and you say, oi, another yontiv, oi, what's going to be yontiv? So much cooking, so much preparing. Oi, I hate yontiv. You know, I ever hear people, oi, Pesach, oi. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, oi, vey, it's terrible. And this year, it's the worst setup ever because we have Thursdays, Rosh Hashanah, Fridays, Rosh Hashanah, and then we have Shabbos, a 3-day yontif. Oh my gosh, how we're going to cook so much. 3 days in a row. And whenever it comes out 3 days, that means that Sukkot is also going to be 3 days. I think Pesach is also going to be 3 days. This is the worst year ever. I mean, did you ever hear people that say, wow, it's the best setup this year? Every year. Into my kids always, the intermediary days of the young, they always wanted to be like weekdays so they can go to amusement parks and have fun. Oh, this year, Chalamoyed, Sukkot comes out the worst possible ever. It comes out in the middle of this day and that day. So when the kids hear the parents kvetching, they start to kvetch too. And the whole thing is just a kvetchy experience. Yeah, especially this year, everyone says, it's so hard to be a Jew. What's going on in Israel? It's so difficult. Why do we have to be like this? Why is this happening to us? What's the end of the story? I don't know the end of the story. But I know that the Jews, we outlive the Hamans, we outlive the Torquemadas, we outlive the Hitlers. We'll outlive this too. And things will be good eventually. Very good. And the Mashiach's going to come. But it all depends how you look at life. So when your family hears a kvetchy experience, can't expect them to be good Jews. Can't expect them to follow on your path. You can't expect your kids to embrace something that you don't like yourself. So what do you need to do? You need to start. You need to walk together with your families and your children. And the way to pass on the golden chain is like Abraham. He didn't say much. He lived it. His son Isaac saw that his father was going with true faith and with not saying anything, just walking in the right direction and faithfully and honorably moving ahead. So his son walked with him side by side. And that's the key story this week. They walk together. But I wanted to give you all a little bit of a story that I have, a childhood memory story that happened to me many years ago, which brings out this theme of father and son walking together. If you have a couple of seconds, I'll share with you the story. So the story was when I was a bar mitzvah boy. Bar mitzvah boys usually have yachts. They're called up to the Torah, and they prepare from months before. Prepare a bar mitzvah speech. I prepared two speeches, a mimer and a pilpul, and prepared a Torah reading. I prepared a maftir and a Torah, all the things bar mitzvah boys prepare. I come from generations of rabbis, so they made me do everything. I had to do everything for the bar mitzvah. Amongst the things that I had to do was, my father brought me. We lived then, not in Crown Heights. We lived in a place like 15, 20 minutes from Crown Heights. And that Shabbos of my bar mitzvah, there was a big farbrengen that the Rebbe had in 770. It was a big Shabbos, my birthday. He wished me happy birthday. But it's always Shabbos after the Shabbos right after Rosh Hashanah. The day after Rosh Hashanah, always a Gimel Tishrei, doesn't remember, right? And it's called Shabbos Tshuva. I was born on Shabbos Tshuva, on the Shabbos between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. And I've been doing Tshuva ever since. And so on that Shabbos, my father brought me to the big Farbrengen. And we were hoping to get maybe an Aliyah afterwards, but I couldn't get an Aliyah because there was a Kohen, Levium. And the Rebbe always used to get on Shabbos Tshuva. He always had an Aliyah, the third Aliyah, by Mincha. So after the Farbrengen, it was Mincha. And they gave me Glila to tie the Torah there in 770. The big shul, thousands of people who came. The Rebbe was speaking, just finished speaking, and they got mincha together, and they called me up to tie the Torah. They gave my father to lift the Torah. It's called Hagba, to lift up the Torah and show the Torah to the whole congregation. And then my job was to tie the Torah. Now, this was a very difficult job for me, for two reasons. First of all, I was doing it right in front of the Rebbe. The Rebbe had their third Aliyah. So, those days, remember, like standing in front of the Rebbe, doing something was very, it's very frightening. So the Rebbe standing there looking at you while you're doing it, and you're doing it in front of him. So it was a frightening experience. We were taught as children that the Rebbe is a tzaddik, and the Rebbe looks through your mind, and he knows everything that you're thinking. So I'm trying to cover my forehead. You shouldn't look through my head and see what I'm thinking. It's not that they had in those days any bad thoughts, but whatever. And finishing is that's the first reason. I was like sort of discombobbled because I'm standing right in front of the Rebbe. Second thing was that the glila in those days, to tie a Torah, was not like today where you have Velcro. It's very easy. In those days, they had like a long string that went around the Torah a few times, and then you had to make a bow. On Shabbos, you're not allowed to make a knot on Shabbos. So you have to make sure you make a bow and make a half a knot and a bow. That's the way you tie the Torah. And it's this long string. I don't know, it was as a kid, I remember it was the longest string, and I had to wrap it around many times and then make the bows. And of course, I had all the old men of 770, this old shul then. And I remember they were all telling me, no, not this way, do it that way, this way and that way. And I'm standing there schwitzing in front of the Rebbe, and I'm doing the Galila, and I have butterfingers, because on a good day, I'm like a Jewish guy, I'm not very handy. So I can't, and finally I finished tying the Torah, and then I had to put the covering of the Torah on it. And it's not aligning the two holes. And this, I'm looking back, the Rebbe is looking at me, and I'm feeling it's taking too long. And then I had to put this massive crown on top of the Torah, which was bigger than me, the crown. I put it on, people are helping me. So I was really, like I say, I was totally discombobbled, nervous, and I just moved to the side after I finished, and I thought that I did like a horrible job. I was like really sad. Like I goofed up, kind of thing, right? In front of thousands of people. I'm standing there on the side, and the way it works is that right after the Glila, the Torah returns back to the Ark. So 770 is a massive shul. It's a very, very big shul. So from the Bima to the Aron Kodesh, the stage where the Torah is read to where the Torah lies, the Torah's house, it takes, I don't know, it takes a long time to bring the Torah there. So my father takes the Torah and he carries it because he did the Hagbos. He took the Torah and he started going down. And in 770, there's thousands of people, but when the Torah comes through, with the Rebbe behind it, the Rebbe used to walk behind the Torah. It used to be like a parting of the sea. It's a parting of the Red Sea. The shul was packed with thousands. Mitamol is like splitting of the sea. You see that? And so from the bima, you can imagine a big line, an empty row for the Torah to go back. And I'm standing there on the bima, on the stage, and the Rebbe is about to go off, following the Torah. And I'm standing there on the side, so I can let the Rebbe go through. Suddenly, the Rebbe places his hand behind me, and he pushes me to walk behind the Torah. The Torah is going back to this place. He pushes me to walk. I had no understanding what he wants over here, because I thought maybe I was in the way or something. Who knows? But he's pushing me like to walk in that direction. So I walked that way. I'm a little kid. I'm a little bar mitzvah boy, and with a lopsided hat that I just put on for the first time, and it was like a big thing. And I'm walking there in the front there of the Rebbe, behind the Torah, and then it's a big beam over there, the big stage, and there's two ways to go. One way to go to, if you go left, you're following the pathway all the way to the Aron Kodesh. But if you go to the right, there's another way to go down, like a sneaker way, the chicken's way to get off. There's like two ways to go down. So I said, yeah, let me get out of the way. I'm in the way. So I quickly went down a few steps, and I thought this nightmare was over. Suddenly I feel a hand behind me. The Rebbe had followed me. He went down 2 steps, and he put his hand behind me and pushed me to go back up. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I've done something really wrong here, and I don't know what's going on. So I go back up to two steps, and then I go back, and then now I see this big aisle in front of me with all the people on both sides, and we're walking. My father's ahead of me a little bit, and this is all happening in split seconds, obviously. And the Torah is going that direction, and I see the bachrim, the young men that are there in the line. They're standing like this, so there could be some space, and they quickly pull me out of the Rebbe's way, because the Rebbe's walking right behind me. So they pull me out of the way, so I'm standing like that. Again, the Rebbe comes and pushes me to continue walking down the aisle. And this keeps on happening another time still, as I'm walking down the aisle with the Torah in front of me. I pulled it out again, and the Rebbe comes and pushes me again. And this happens 4 times until I walk. I give a look behind me. I see the Rebbe behind me, the Torah in front of me, and I walked all the way to the very front of the shul. And the Rebbe went to his place, and that was the end of the story, end of my bar mitzvah story. But what's the story? What's the meaning of the story? The meaning of the story is like this. I tell the story a lot of times because I think it was something. First of all, the Rebbe wanted me to feel good. I was this lost young little kid. Make me feel good. He sent me down this very, very impressive, row. Everyone giving honor to the Rebbe, the Torah. That's one thing. He made me feel good. He made me feel like an important guy over here, right? The second thing, which I think is more important, is the Rebbe was pushing me on the path. He was as a kid, he was giving me sort of the signal, life is like a path. You're going down the path, and you have to always follow the Torah. You have to follow. And sometimes you go down a few steps. You fall down a little bit. But for that, you have your teachers, you have your Rebbe behind you. He comes down a few steps to pull you back up. But keep your eye on the Torah. And in this case, your father's holding the Torah, right? So the Rebbe was sending me down, follow your father. And then again, I go off the path, pulls me back in, schleps me back in. And again, I go off, pulls me back in. To continue to be, the Rebbe wanted it to be, remember in life, my child, always have to follow the Torah, always follow your father, follow your parents, the path that has been made for you. So to me, it was always like a very symbolic thing that the Rebbe was sending me, the subliminal message. He never told me this is the message. But to me, that is the message, that you keep on going down the path, and sometimes you have challenges and difficulties in life, and you fall off the rails a little bit, come back on, the community will bring you back on. But most important, keep your eye on the ball, walk with your father. You have to walk together. The story sort of, it's like Avrohom Avinu and Yitzchak. Yeah, my name is also Avrohom, so so that's the thing. Walk with your father, walk with your parents, side by side, or walk towards them in their path. And through that, you will make it eventually to the Ark of the Covenant, to the holy place in life, and you will succeed. This is my story, my mitzvah story, which I thought is very, very much tied in to this vision, this picture I have of Avram and Yitzchak walking together. Every Yid has to walk together with their parents and walk in that path. But the key is joy. We said before, to be happy, to enjoy what you're doing. When a parent enjoys what they're doing, then the child also follows in the same path, and it also is very, very joyful with their. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. But most important is to get that vision of Vayechu Shneim Yachdav, parents and children. Comes now the high holidays. More important than ever before this year to be in shul. A lot of people are afraid to go to shul. People say, all kinds of things. But this year, you have to go to shul. You know why you have to go to shul this year, especially? For 3 reasons. One is dafka. Not to give in to the bullies of this world, to the anti-Semites. They don't want us to go to shul. They want us to be intimidated. And we have to be there with our families, with our children, to continue to walk down the path of Yiddishkeit. That's one reason. Second reason is Am Yisrael Chai. We have to be together. We need to be in unity. We have to be there with each other, to hold each other. And the third reason is we all need a little hug. We all need a little bit. We all went through a difficult year, and in Israel they went through even more. But we are also going through difficult, challenging times. We need to encourage each other and be there for each other and be there together as families. So this is the yontif of Vayechu Shneim Yachdav. If you're considering or thinking about how much to go to shul or when to go to shul, go. It's not even a question. We have to make sure to be there for each other, to be strong as a people. And we need to be as the Jewish people that need to be. Vayechu Shneim Yachdav. We need to go together. Yachdav means Am Echad. We need to be one nation together, especially this year, even more than ever before. We need to hold hands and be there with each other. Yes, sometimes we go off the tracks, we fall off the road, we fall down a few steps, we come back up. That's the story of the Jewish people. We need to be there with each other, for each other. So we wish everybody a good Shabbos to everyone. We'll see you next week, Mr. Hashem. This week, we have a big Yontif fair at Kabbalah Markham. You're all cordially invited to come join us this Sunday. And I also have an interesting program this Tuesday night. My mother is coming from New York, and we're doing she's going to tell her story during the Holocaust. And we're going to do also I'm going to interview her, so it'll be like a parent-child kind of thing. So you're all welcome to come for that thing, which is going to be on Tuesday night. Okay? So, anyone have any questions? Eden, any questions?
Shabbos G'Jontov, everybody.
Shabbos, good John.
Yeah, the job is good. Shabbos, thank you.
Shabbos,
Love the story.
Yeah.
There's
Thank you so much.
Sid.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Mazel tov to Esther and Henry, the whole family there.
Thank
They
you.
just had a bar mitzvah last Shabbos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We wish a hearty mazel tov to Lipman.
Lipman Herschel, yeah.
Lipman Herschel. Sorry, I can't forget that.
Both say
Oh, the
that.
grandparents. Yeah. Lipman Herschel. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. much.
Mazel tov.
Thank
Mazel
you.
tov, mazel tov.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the shield. Goodbye.
Always a pleasure.
Beautiful. Yeah. Sandra. Okay. Thanks.